Busy little bees.
Busy bees, indeed. We're going to be on Cursed Hollow for our first battleground, and it will be a best of threes all the way through today and tomorrow.
So do you remember actually who invited us to the map? I think it was Crimson Mist.
It was Crimson Mist, yes.
So Crimson Mist is blue.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's fix that very quickly before we start this draft. And fixed. Dunzo. All right, so Crimson Mist actually also going to get first pick, first ban, and it looks like a Falstead ban. Not exactly what I would have called canon, but there it is. And on the flip side, a Jaina to return from the construction crew.
Now, Jaina's a little more standard than the Falstad ban. So far in the draft, Crimson Mist have picked up Kael'thas, Johanna, and Nuzibo. Construction crew have Zeratul and Uther, which looks a little frightening. And now we're going to have the next set of bans. Construction crew will get one, and then Crimson Mist will get their final ban. I think Construction crew might be looking at a possible support ban here. They've already picked up their support. Crimson Mist have yet to get theirs, so they do have their warriors. It's possible we could see something like a Muradin ban on the other side, and there is an Alterian ban from Construction crew.
All right, so I accidentally clicked Lili by accident. It's not a Lili, it is an Uther. Construction crew going very strong with that one set of picks that they get before these bans. With that Uther and with that Zeratul, they're really setting themselves up for a very strong, perhaps even Shadow Assault, but wouldn't that just tickle everyone pink? But either way, I mean, Zeratul right now, like, there's a top four kind of hierarchy in a lot of these picks, and it's Zeratul, it's Jaina, it's Leoric, and it's Zagara. And I am really surprised to not see Leoric or Zagara on either of these teams' side.
Yeah, it's very crazy that we don't see Zagara. I feel like she's been picked up first really often, as well as the Leoric. Although the Leoric makes a little bit of sense in that he is the newest hero, so maybe these teams just aren't quite confident with playing with him yet. Or the construction crew might be looking and saying, oh, we're going to get double warrior, but first we want to make sure we get this Zeratul, as he wasn't the first pick for Crimson Mist. Crimson Mist taking their time with their second ban here, but it will be the Muradin.
All right, so they picked up a Johanna first, and then they've been at the Muradin. So they're trying to choke out what kind of choices that we actually have available here to Construction Crew, because it's their pick now after the double bans have gone through. And they already have a support. They got a Zeratul, but we need a range damage, and we need a warrior to go with them. Kael'thas already picked up. Falstead, for whatever reason, was banned, and Jaina was the ban from Construction Crew. This is kind of leaving you a little slim in terms of some of that more burst damage heavy out there, which means Construction Crew is going to have to go a little bit more steady. You know, Zagara, Vala. Past that, I'm not entirely too sure who you would actually prioritize. Maybe it's just Sylvanas by the end of it. But Construction Crew, you said perhaps they were going to go for that double warrior. It's all the hotness right now, and there's Leoric.
Yeah, and usually when we see Leoric, we do see a follow-up with another warrior, but they could probably save that until their last. I do think that they should be prioritizing on damage here, like you mentioned, because it is such slim pickings, and they will pick up Vala, so they're going to have the sustained damage from her, plus the more bursty takedown, jump in, jump out, deal a lot of damage in between from Zeratul.
All right, so Kael'thas, Nuzibo, they're already picked up. The Malfurion ban, Uther already picked up for Construction Crew, means that Crimson Mist is highly likely to be running a Rhaegar at this point. It's kind of comes down to the only other viable healer, at least here in the North American side of things. And, yep, Zagara is coming out, but I misspoke a little bit. This is a friend of yours, isn't it?
Oh, friends! She is my friend. She's my favorite. It's Brightwing, and with the Zagara, Nuzibo, Kael'thas, Brightwing's got a little bit of a task in keeping her team alive, but I do believe that she can do it. I'm thinking maybe Crimson Mist just either probably feels very confident in their Brightwing play to go ahead and pick her, even though we haven't really seen her so much, if at all, really, since her change.
Well, no. Definitely don't. You don't see her at all. No, I mean, no, you don't see her at all. Because just her early game is kind of painful. I mean, we have a big burst, heavy ganking kind of fight, and she can't deal with that, especially now that you don't really have any kind of big burst heals until level 10. We've taken away a lot of her utility in terms of the activatables. You could extend range. You can try to get some timing. I mean, there's a bit of a skill cap if you want to go into like Pixie Dust for an extra heal on Soothing Mist, but you got to time it out. And It's a little flimsy at best. And Brightwing up against this. I'm not entirely too sure. Like, she won't perform because that's total. I cannot hit any of the buttons today. It's not a Tyrael, it's a Tyrande. So Construction Crew really only has like 2 big bursts at this point, and that's going to be Zeratul common, and then like Vala and she unloads. The Yorick doesn't really strike me as burst. He has a lot of good sustain, and he has a lot of good overall sustained damage. But Brightwing might actually be okay here by the end of it. Kind of comes down to how they play. I mean, you've seen a little bit of a weirder, different draft. The Falstead ban of Kayle first pick, Zagara into 4th pick. My goodness. EU would have had a fit if they saw this draft. But I don't know. Tyrande coming into it for the vulnerabilities, like that might be the tipping scale here for Brightwing. But the only other thing I can think of is they took Brightwing for Peekaboo, and that's just to counter Zeratul.
Oh yeah, that's a straight up counter. She can pick that up, and then it reveals a very large portion of the battleground. But after that, what are they gonna do? Do they focus on the Soothing Mist? Do they focus on shielding, maybe? They're definitely gonna have to look for good zoning to try to keep damage off of their squishy backline as much as they possibly can. Zagara could go with like rapid incubation to try to mitigate it by having a little bit of self-healing. Same with, I mean, Johanna's very tanky, but as far as Kael'thas, I don't know.
Well, we're going to have to find out because the countdown is ready, Gillyweed, and we're going to be coming into our first casted match in a while. I mean, we've done some rank win, we've done some talking on some podcasts, but at the same time, it's interesting to get back here into the casting booth. So I'm super excited, Miss.
I am as well. Thank you so much for having me on here to cast with you today. We're going to be moving into Cursed Hollow for our first game. Cursed Hollow is, of course, where you want to pick up 3 tributes. If you can do that, you can curse your opponents. Their minions will spawn with 1 hit point. And on top of that, their structures will not deal damage for a long time. It's a lot of time for you to make something happen, start pushing down some structures, and putting on a lot of pressure versus your opponents.
All right, so on the left-hand side, it's going to be Crimson Mist. And as they start coming on into this is our first match of the best of 3s today for the August Open Road to BlizzCon Americas. This is the last qualifier, so the top 8 are all going to be going into the studio there on, I think, August 22. Is where they're going to be fighting for cash and prizes. But today, got to get through the round of 128 to get there. Fetricon, Tribe 77, Monkey, Crimson, the captain, I hope, and Soruriku going to be making up Crimson Mist.
And their opponents in red will be Red Trubshin, From Gore, Sin, TJUSA, and Country Ken, all playing for Construction Crew.
Now, a little bit earlier on, okay, well, sure, early on, lots of big aggression in the mid, as it looks like they've come to play ARAM a little bit. Tribes is going to be coming down with that phase, but it's just right into Leoric's mace, and, well, that did not work out for Crimson whatsoever.
Did not. Brightwing did pick up Hyper Shift, so looking to reduce the cooldown of Phase Shift, which does make me think that they are going to be going into that Peekaboo later on. TJUSA and Retruption might be able to catch Crimson out here. Lunar Flare goes down, going to grab him, and a cleave will ensure the takedown there. 2 takedowns already for Construction Crew.
So, okay, what I was originally going to say is that earlier on, we're very likely to see a little bit more of a roam comp. We got Zeratul, we got the Tyrande, and already, 2 takedowns in. They're looking for Monkey there as well. That's a zombie wall. Didn't actually do Johanna any favors by the end of it, but that's what you're going to be seeing. Construction Crew here has a much better early game. They can roam around. They can combo very nicely with a lot of the heroes for the lanes. But we have 2 specialists on Crimson Mist, remember. They got Zagara, they got Nazeebo. All they want to do is just kind of weather the lane, weather the storm, and just soak as much as they can, because they're going to go for a late game. Late game Zagara is absolutely scary. Nazeebo's a pushing monster, and of course the level 16 Kael'thas to boot.
Yeah, it'll be an early game versus a late game, which means that Construction Crew have to get as much damage as they can possibly get. They really are on a timer for a bit to get as much damage as they can, hoping for possibly a keep before Kael'thas gets to 16. That's generally what teams try to look for. And looking at some of these talents, we do have, I mentioned the Hyper Shift. We also have Baneling or Centrifugal Hooks for the Baneling Barrage on Zagara, something we very rarely see. I don't think I've ever seen that pickup. Have you seen it very often?
I used it in ARAM the other day, but that's simply because, you know, it was ARAM. Had nothing really else at level 1 to do. And something else to note is that Soru here into the bottom is not keeping any of his creep tumors up whatsoever. But here comes that roam mid again. You know, they're looking for those immobile heroes, and Fetricon was a really good target right there. Again, the Nazebo wall does not do Johanna any favors. She just gets trapped in there with that Zeratul, and they are going to be running with the tail between their legs. And, you know, the timing from these roams, that last one especially, it should put him in fantastic position for this upcoming tribute.
Heroes.
The roam squad is going bottom. We've got Countrykin versus Saruriku, and a great infested drop is going to reveal Retruption, who's going to start walking away, looking to go back up for that man. But I really like that Countrykin has gone for the Q build, focusing on the Hungering Arrow, because it does make Vala more of a good 1v1 hero, and that helps them up versus Zagara. But we have a first tribute.
Yeah, and it's going to be top. So it did actually spawn top, not bottom. Was really hoping that the positioning would work out there for the construction crew, but it doesn't seem to matter. They're coming in. Zagara actually gets soloed into the bottom lane. Brightwing is now out. Kael'thas going to drop here as well. And will they actually get that return on Sin? No, he's just going to turn right back around with the hope. Stuns coming out now. Monkey does not have that unstoppable. He's still trying to poke around, but the Monkey is down. Big stuns, and I think TJ USA will actually finish up that team wipe for a 5-1 exchange. Because remember, Zagara bottom did actually fall to Countrykin. Huge advantages coming forward for the experienced Skilly.
8 takedowns to 1, and you can see that's really reflected in the experiences. We nearly have level 7 talents for construction crew. There they are. They're going to start picking those up. Cleanse, we've got the Lunar Blaze to increase the range, make it even easier for Toronto to be able to capitalize on some of these ganks coming in and throwing out her Lunar Flare.
All right, not entirely too sure what Sora is trying to do here. Into the bottom lane, just kind of runs right through Countrykin, loses half his hit points for him. Zagara is definitely playing a little bit more atypical. I'm looking at Crimson now in the mid, though. Big silences. They're looking for that kill on top of Retribution, and unfortunately, they will just be once more denied. The double heals are too strong. Look at Sora in the bottom. Not only with the centrifugal hooks, as Countrykin leaves the game, so the Banelings, you know, travel twice as far as he said. Tumor Clutch at level 4. Doesn't have any mana, and the cooldown's decreased by 10 seconds, or to 10 seconds. Not exactly things you see a lot of, Vikili.
No, you really give up a lot without having Envenomed Spines there at 4. It's a lot more damage output for Zagara, especially in team fights. But especially when Sorrow hasn't been focusing on the creep really too much anyway. It's interesting to me that she picked that up, but it could also be that Countrykin has just been doing a great job of cleaning up the creep. Vala is typically a good hero for doing that. She's got the multi-shot, can throw that out and reveal those tumors.
Well, she has also, you know, soloed out the Zagari here once already, and, you know, the lack of tumors does suggest that the multi-shots have been pretty much on point. Sora Riku, I mean, he's also been throwing his roaches off into the side bushes looking for those ganks. He found Zeratul once, and, you know, that was great for preventing that gank right there. But then Zeratul just went top to the tribute anyways. So it's like, all right, I'm a little curious about that one. Countrykin taking his time to get back into this one. But, yeah, the level 1, level 4 Zagara haven't really seen these talents played out. And so far, it's not working out there for Soru. Anything else on the flip side, though? Uther, Conjurer's Pursuit at level 1, pretty good. We haven't actually been seeing a few reaches lately. But Boundless Conviction at level 4. That's a new one to me.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, increasing the width and length of Holy Radiance, but focusing, I guess, on being able to hit more people with it, get more people healed up from it. What else would we, sometimes, I guess we see Protective Shield there. That would have been nice for, yeah, Zeratul and especially Leoric too, but I'm going to go for that Boundless Conviction there. It's an interesting pickup.
Increasing width and length, I guess he's just looking for a bit more of an AoE heal style. I mean, distributed damage models don't really favor Uther as your healer. He's very much the guy that if you really want somebody to live, that one person will live. You might lose the rest of your team, but that one person will live through it all. And that's why we do actually see usually Protective Shields. Now, the Tyrande did pick up that Protective Shield at level 4. No healing ward for her, which might have actually been like the better way to go. You know, the healing ward plus the protective, if you are going to go into a bit more of a healing utility. But she does have the Ranger's Mark, the Lunar Blades there as well. It seems pretty standard. The Q build, pretty standard. This is more or less, I think, the standard Leoric way to go. Reanimation, the Willing Vessel for more healing, and then Ossian Renewal. You can even activate that while you're dead and just like knocks a ton of time off your respawn. It's pretty just broken.
Yeah, late game Leoric can respawn after a team fight when normally it would be like a 40-second. I've seen him be able to come back up in like 20 seconds. That is so frustrating, and especially on Cursed Hollow when you're trying to be able to get those tributes early on, and he can just stand there, reduce his cooldown timer by using some of his abilities like this, and then come right back up and be there for the tribute. It makes it very difficult for a team against him to try to really get a team wipe to get a tribute.
Yeah. I mean, there's long odds facing them right now. We're just going to come back to the cameras because I have no idea when this pause is actually going to finish up. We still have 7 minutes remaining on it. So I'm hoping it's not a case of pauses longer than game, but 8-1 already, 1 tribute into the pocket. There should be another one like coming out very quickly after this one as well. If it's a quick 2-0, I mean, we could have a devastating push coming in with the curse.
Oh yeah, if they get to 10 and have their heroic abilities, there's no way the Crimson Mist can try to get in and pick up that tribute. I mean, they could try, but it's going to be very difficult to actually fight versus heroic abilities without them and add a tribute. That could be an insta-curse for Construction Crew, and then pushing in, getting a lot of structures, because it'll be difficult for Crimson Mist to really get out there and kind of push them back, because once again, they don't have their heroic abilities. Brightwing did pick up Peekaboo, which we saw that. She was coming in and throwing that down, and it does grant a lot of vision and reveals it for 6 seconds. But I really felt like Construction Crew could just kind of move out, throw out what they need to do until that goes away, and then they've got quite a bit until the phase shift will be ready again, where they can really get Zeratul back in there and start dealing a lot of damage.
So I said back at the draft, there wasn't a huge amount of burst to kind of deal with until the Tyrande was actually picked up. Now the burst it can absolutely be real. Between the Vala, between the Zeratul, with that Hunter's Mark from the Tyrande, it just skyrockets the damage, especially level 1, 25%. You don't exactly have that many hit points. And, the zombie walls, I think, have actually worked against Crimson Mist thus far, rather than for them. So coming back into that, just like Brightwing will not be able to, do anything about that. Even she doesn't have anything to heal you with until level 7. Until then, you're basically stuck on a 5-second timer. There's no burst available to you. Level 7 will be the phase shield. 20-second shield. It's pretty awesome, right? Takes you until level 7 to get that. And then you can only do it maybe every 10 to 15 seconds. Like, the blink heal is going to be way too late, I think.
Yeah, and level 7 picking up that phase shield means that you're giving up a cleanse, and look what they're up against. They're up against the Uther with stuns and the Tyrande with the Lunar Flare, and she even picked up the Lunar Blaze. They've got so many stuns, they are going to be able to compound those stuns one after another. And without a cleanse, I mean, because they have to take up the shield, I guess you kind of have to hope that the shield will last through the damage that's being done to the person who is being stunned for days.
Stunned for days. That's another big thing he can do right here. I mean, it's a decent CC train. Tyrande into Uther. That should be more than enough to take away some of these squishies. Maybe not Johanna. It really is kind of hard to take down Johanna in that kind of big burst, since she can just pop that unstoppable. But anybody else, I mean, Brightwing will have no escapes until 10. Zagara will never have any escapes until 20. Nazeebo won't have sprint till 13. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, if you can't heal them and they can't run away, I guess the only option is to kill them.
Yeah, and really they don't ramp up to that until the later game. We talked about that before. Can they get to that point without losing too much? That's going to be the key for Crimson Mist. I'm interested in the fact that Zeratul, Construction Crew are nearly through level 7, and Zeratul has not picked up his 7 talent. We see the focus attack, but no follow through yet. Is there anything that maybe he would be considering instead?
First aid is kind of the only other thing I can think of. Like, even then, you just don't really see it anymore. Everyone really favors the big bursty auto attack damage from Zeratul. And if he does actually go into first aid, I mean, the only reason you should ever kind of burst into that is if you have issues dueling or you don't trust your healers. So who would he even deal? Who would he try to duel into the back? Well, there's 3 big squishy targets. There's even 4, I guess, if you want to look at Brightwing. Anybody is a big target for all those reasons we just mentioned, of lack of escapes, right? Zeratul can just blink around their face. And if he can get off that damage, great. If he can't, he needs that first aid so he can keep trying to do that damage. Like, that's basically his job, is to get into the back, get the damage done, and get out alive. So if he doesn't have the confidence to do it with the follow-through, then he's going to have to take first aid. If he takes something else, then I don't know. Like, something is strange in this game. I'm getting a message. Well, they're talking about it, but they're ready to play with a bot.
Yikes.
I think Country Ken's lost in the country.
Country Ken went out, hasn't come back. Unfortunately for them, I feel like Vala was doing some serious work, and that's going to be a little bit of a problem for them, as Zagara is going to be able to pick on that bot all day long, unless bot Vala is just insane. I mean, I've heard of bot Malfurion making some plays, but I don't know about a bot Vala.
Bot ETC, bot Uther is kind of like the exclusive list of things that have made plays. Now Sin has left the game.
Oh, no.
Well, we have something like a minute left before the pause actually finishes off. This could become like, oh, God, they're going to go. All right, fine. Be that way.
Back in. We're back in. All right, and Sin has rejoined, so it looks like it will just be the bot Vala, not a bot Leoric 2.
All right, I see bot Vala. Okay, so Zagara did come back. I was going to say, if it's bot Zagara versus bot Vala, that would have been the coincidence of coincidences.
Bot Vala just missed, by the way, a multi-shot on the creep.
AI, please. AI, please.
All right, well, Retribution has been revealed by that Peekaboo tribe trying to pick up the tribute, and the Peekaboo is now done, so Zeratul can try to run back up, and the Lunar Flare will stop tribe from being able to pick up that tribute for now. She's going to stop trying to channel and try to heal back up for now, as Spectracon is getting fairly low. So is Zeratul, though. He's going to blink away. Good zoning here, but nobody's really been able to pick up the tribute. Now Zeratul is down, though, and Bot Vala is maybe causing some trouble here for Construction Crew.
Where is Bot Vala?
She went
back. That level 7 shield coming in there from Tribes actually doing a heck of a lot of work. I mean, not only the lack of the Vala, DPS kind of showing there, but Tribes, he does go for the triple shield talents with the phase shield. He has that picked up, and that is a heck of a shield. 200 base. That will scale into, I think, 1,000 by level 15. 1,000 extra hit points or something silly. Yeah, it's absolutely unreal.
Looks like they are trying to mitigate the fact that they know that their healer is not known for being super healy, because they got the Crusade Marches on Johanna, so going to be lowering the cooldown of Iron Skin so she can have that as much as possible. Also, battle momentum for Zagara, so it looks like Zagara is evening out into a more normal build, at least for now.
Yeah, well, we can hope, the extra battle momentum. Her Banelings, actually, by the end of it, did get a heck of a lot of value in that closed little area. And, like, you can actually shoot it out something like a screen away. That's how much the distance doubles. It's absolutely insane. But good map positioning here. We do got Construction Crew now, 4 men already set up looking for this tribute. And they really, really want to make sure they can go 2-0. And, well, with Petricon kind of running into a whole bush full of enemies, I think they can do it.
Get Vala back. She's already used her vault. It should be back up rather soon. Monkey did stop the tribute spawn with the shield there, but here comes the Brightwing with the phase shift in, and a big shield there. Crimson, though, taking a lot of damage thanks to that Starfall, and maybe will go down. The Sentinel is going to hit him, and he will explode and be done, and Zagara is down as well, too. So Crimson Construction Crew making it happen here, picking up Johanna. They picked up the tribute too, and they've got 3 takedowns on top of that.
That Valabot, I mean, that was a money Rain of Vengeance by the end of it. And I realized because of the boss, I don't have my timers. So is it that? It is. Control-Shift-T brings it right back up for you. So great. The timers, Void Prison, March of the Black King, Divine Shield, Starfall, and Rain of Vengeance, as we saw right there. They pick up the tribute. They pick up even more takedowns. 12-2 between these teams here on this battleground, and 11-9. I mean, if you know that your opponents are about to hit level 10, you can't contest those tributes, ladies and gentlemen. They were a man down because Nazeebo got blown up. and they were down in positioning, and they're down in that heroic tier. It should have been a very clear-cut retreat right there from Crimson Mist.
Especially because it wasn't 2 tributes. They had picked up that one once Volleybot was there, and so they didn't need to contest it. It wouldn't have equaled out a curse. Instead, they not only gave up the tribute, but they also lost 3 members. We've got another tribute in here, and both teams do have their heroic abilities now, as Brightwing is going to phase shift in, and there is the reveal on Retruption. Gravity Lapse goes down on Frumgor, and Dim pulling 3 of the members in. Can they get Frumgor? He will go down. Uther will be out of this, but not before dropping the Divine Shield on Volleybot. Of all people, Retruption is going to get healed back up from that Uther Ghost, but looks like Crimson Mist are going to pick up their own tribute number 2.
All right, we're going to go all the way to 5 before we pick up that first tribute. You're going to be looking at level 13 talents, but now here comes a little bit of their turn. Void Prison actually saves out Crimson. TJ USA had an owl ready for him, but Zeratul even going to lose his life on that one, and Valabot just gotta have to run away at this point. 5 top with the Stone Bros. That could even be a fort at this point. There's that much pressure from Crimson Mist.
The only thing Construction Crew have going for them in this case is that they are about to hit level 13, so they will be up a talent tier, most likely for the next tribute. But yeah, this fort is going to go down, and that's going to afford a lot of experience to Crimson Mist. They've come in, the Gravity Lapse goes down on Leoric. He is going to be polymorphed too. Sin trying to get away, is going to march with the Black King through though, and that is a ton of damage going down. Kael'thas gets taken out.
Yep, Kael'thas down. Tribes is going to use that blink heal, get himself to safety. Sora already there, and now the rest of the disengage with that Blessed Shield at the end of it from Johanna will keep the rest of them going, and they're going to need that pressure because this is the money tribute right here. This is going to be the curse, and I'm not entirely too sure which team will find it. They find themselves again in the Turnpike.
Petrogani is going to go down. Zeratul up in front, starting to deal damage to Monkey too, and the Drain Hope dealing so much to her as well. She's going to try to get out, just condemn through, and she's got no mana left. Devouring Maw is going to try to save her. Vala is coming in. Is Volleybot going too far?
Well, one might have actually made that argument, but Retribution down south, he's just like, I got my kill, I'm happy. Kael'thas is way too late, and the first curse will go to the team with the advantage. Level 14 to 12 coming into it, having that talent tier. Curse, doesn't matter that Valabot couldn't get those takedowns. They are just going to push and push and push.
Bottom four is already nearly down thanks to those Siege Giants. A big push in the middle from Construction Crew 2, nearly about to take down that middle four up top even. And Kael'thas is going to go down from it too, down on bottom as TJ USA came in to help Retribution pick up that takedown and the force.
Yeah, Retribution, I mean, again, you know, he did actually pick up that follow through, has the wormhole, very standard kind of Zeratul build, but you come in on a stun, you get that bonus damage after a Hunter's Mark, you're doing something like 800 to 900 damage between the entire skill set. And oh, what is, how much hit points does Kael'thas actually hit right now? It's going to be pretty close to his entire life.
Well, now they're going after the boss. Sorry. They know that Crimson Mist have to try to deal with top, but unfortunately they came in too late here, and two of the four went down. They were able to save that mid one, but they're going to have to hurry back because already there are minions right back at it. And this is a very low fort. These minions might actually be able to take it out. There's nobody there to help deal with it.
Okay, coming down to the wire. That timer. Are they going to shift focus? Oh, they do. The fort will survive until Sin comes and sneezes on it. But nope, Sin's actually going to go the other way. The rest of the team here, Crimson Mist, are going to have their hands full. They got a golem now pushing bottom. We got a big rush right here to the top. So what do? Do you defend? Do you contest? It looks like contest seems to be the name of the game. Zagara already coming over here with Monkey. I mean, they could make a very exceptional Maw into a Blessed Shield for the steal, but I don't think it's happening here.
Well, the Maw did not pick up anybody. The Brightwing is already down, so no heals. Zagara goes down too. It's only Johanna here. This whole time, Nazeebo wasn't even there yet. Kael'thas wasn't there. He was trying to deal with the boss, so a little bit of an overstep here for Crimson Mist, and not going to be able to take down the Zeratul as the Divine Shield will save him. Frumgor, though, does get caught in the zombie wolf, so they will be able to get that one takedown.
Well, the zombie wall actually working to their favor as Country Crane loses his connection for the 17th time in a row. Sin and crew, they did actually have this boss reset on them, but remember, bottom boss has been pushing it. It got an entire keep, Gilly.
Yeah, that reasoning, that choice there is, I'm not sure about that. As a keep down here before Kael'thas has even gotten to 16, I mentioned that before, that's kind of what you want to do versus a team that's very late game focused, like the Crimson Mist are with it. with the
Valabot!
Kel'Thas. Yeah,
She
that
got
Rain of Vengeance.
Kel'Thas! At the end of it, the offensive plays from Country Ken's Ghost. Oh my, and speaking of the Ghost, the Wraithwalk comes in. Sin is looking for Tribes, can't quite find him, but they do take down Nazebo, they do take down Kel'Thas, and it looks like they're going to go straight back to this boss. There's no tributes. Well, okay, I lied. There is a tribute coming out back onto the map, but still, 17 to 15. We got that talent tier advantage again. Stone Skin coming out, Imposing Presence. Imposing Presence actually confuses me. There's not even an auto attacker ready to go here from Crimson Mist. But either way, Hardened Focus. Uther's going to be just tucking out those heals left, right, and center. Shooting Star and Blood for Blood. This is the wiser decision to not engage from Crimson Mist.
Yeah, they really wanted to get that. They really wanted to get a curse, but they've got to try to catch back up in tributes or in talents first. And here comes the Peekaboo in, and once again we're gonna have an engagement here as the Devouring Maw does pull the Orc into the depths. They might be able to surround him. They might be able to take him out. No, they will not. Instead, they're rightfully very concerned about that March of the Black King, and Construction Crew are gonna run back behind their base.
Come on, Valabot, do us proud. You can do it. Just follow the team. All right, team's not going to go in. Next tribute, next 30 seconds or so, I want to say. So while you have the chance, I would definitely look to get as many mercenaries as possible. And this team seem to have the same idea. We got some, at least posturing. Is this going to be like, are they baiting? They're bruisers?
I am not sure there, as it looks like they were maybe just thinking, oh, we might be able to catch them here. They might try to come here since they have their 16. The Owl went through, and they have no interest in that. In fact, they just want to set up and get really good positioning around that tribute. Once again, I have to think maybe they should just let this tribute go. They don't have 16.
Valabot's on it. Valabot takes it home. Way back into the back. Some nice setup there from Retribution. And TJ, down goes the VP.
That is a fantastic VP. Will Velabot throw the Rain of Vengeance? It looks like no, not on top of it. Would have been a perfect setup for Sin to come in for March of the Black King, but instead he's going to get hit by a Flame Strike. But remember, it still isn't applying Living Bomb. We still don't have 16 here for Crimson Mist, and they're going to disengage thanks to the Star.
Yeah, Peekaboo will just confirm that they are good to go. Valabot all the way pushing for. Oh, Zagara! What were you doing in the bush, girl? I don't know. She's going to be down for the count. Valabot still, there we go. Finally got a ping as Country Ken loses connection for the 18th time. And still, I mean, bottom lane has been pushing out well. That's 2 quick tributes into the pocket, virtually uncontested for the Construction Crew. We have pressure on their core, and now it does look like there's going to be a second curse of the game going to Construction Crew. And this boss is just beckoning to them at this point.
Yeah, now we could, God, another curse before Crimson Mist could even pick up their first. It's so frustrating, but they do have Kel'Thas if they can get up here and throw out a Flame Strike. I don't know if it's going to be in time, as they will be able to pick up the tribute, but they are getting hit by some Flame Strikes. The Living Bombs will start to go off. Sin very far forward here, could get taken out after several stuns. We'll be able to just barely Wraith Walk away. Now we're going to see the try on the disengage, but Volleyball going to throw out the Rain of Vengeance. Johanna goes down. Oh my God.
That was a 4-man Rain of Vengeance. Sin is going to drop for it here as well, but Retribution, he's going to pick up Tribes. Crimson is going to drop here as well to that lengthen with increased Holy Light. Country Ken down for the count at the whole of 19, and 19 for the level, 16 coming into this as well. No boss, just go straight for keep at this point, and 3 members down. I got to say, we got to blow up Valabot on Twitter, guys. She is just absolutely doing amazing.
I think Country Ken's out of a job. Because Volleybot, that Rain of Vengeance, though. And I wanted to point out that she picked Rain of Vengeance, like, right away. Everyone else picked up their heroics, like, afterwards. I'm even wondering if they're like, well, I guess we'll get March Black Kings if we have that in Starfall, or if that was the plan all along. But either way, they've picked up this keep. 2 keeps now down on the side of Crimson Mist. They're going to back off. They're going to pick up these Siege Giants. They're going to get 20. They're most likely going after that boss, yes. And they could definitely win off of that.
Enough. The curse is over.
Well, level 20, big boss, 2 keeps to their name, and still 0 curses to the Crimson Mist coffer. This is definitely looking good for Construction Crew to take the first game of this best of 3. You know, you're right. I think Country Ken, he has quite the legacy to live up to here in game number 2.
Yeah, gonna be hard to beat that Rain of Vengeance. Her life was on the line. She was nearly taken down, and then she just turns around with Rain of Vengeances to the face. She's now picked up Nexus Frenzy, and that's going to be a lot more damage there coming out from her. I'm really excited to see the Spectral Leech come into play, keeping Leorc very, very tanky too. But we're back to working on Banelings for Zagara. I don't know if you noticed, but at level 16 she triggered Baneling Massacre.
Yeah.
My concern with the Baneling build for Zagara is that to spawn 8 Banelings that travel super far means that she will end up like sitting for a long time. That could make her really vulnerable versus something like a Zeratul.
All right, well, speaking of Zeratul, he's going to be a bit vulnerable. Does actually blink away from that mod. Nothing going down into it. Threw down his VP there as well. And just death for breakfast. The 2-level advantage really starting to show. Kael'thas down. Zagara is going to drop there as well. Monkey now running with the tail between his legs. But Fetricon is actually probably going to be the death here of Tribe 77 since he's still here. Here comes the Drain Hope. The stun. Retribution into the front. Looking for the kill. But it is going to actually just be the ice block. She shatters into pieces. And once more, a very dominant fight going the way of Construction Crew. 26-6, Gilly. This could actually be the death march right here for the core.
Yeah, they're on their way to it. Monkey actually getting caught once again in their own zombie wall. And their boss, the boss took out so much of the core that it was like 2 hits. And they did it.
Valabot. Valabot. Now we've seen everything, my dear.
I was skeptical. I will admit, I did not believe in the Valabot, but I do now. Her build even was not that bad too, the one she picked up, because she picked up from her heroic ability on.
I gotta say, that was certainly something right there. Now, the big question, will we run with a Valabot, or will Construction Crew actually welcome back Country Ken with open arms? That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one.
That is. I'm not sure. I don't know what choice I would make, but I would be a little bit concerned of a bot picking a build from the beginning. Maybe it would be all right. Maybe she would be prove herself.
Well, just remember, guys, if you get bots, just tether them to you so they don't do anything that you wouldn't expect them not to do. And a few times there, we actually saw her not part of those team fights, and it got a little dicey for Construction Crews to like, okay, all right, back and forth. But by the end of it, they were able to solidify their lead, and they never let it go. I mean, we're up 2 levels, 3 levels at one point. We got both the curses, all the bosses, a lot of the mercenary pressure really just went their way. And remember, like, they took that last boss at the very end, did a huge team fight, kind of ran all the way through the map, and by the time they got to the core, the boss had already done most of the work for them. So, good game. Well played. Construction Crew up now 1-0 over Crimson Mist, which means that we're going to be going to game number 2 here in just a few short moments. What would you want to see in a game number 2, Gilly?
If we have a team wanting to run, like if Crimson Mist wants to run a late game composition again, they need to not get so far behind. They need to play very safely. I also think that it would benefit them maybe to do a smaller, I don't know, I would almost say like they could do something like a Sky Temple and then get Mule, so that way they can really just try to turtle as far as they can and get into a later game comp, or do something more standard, because I think a lot of their picks, while very fun and interesting to theorize about, really did them a bit of a disservice. And maybe,
how many zombie walls worked against them rather than towards them? Yeah. Tumor clutch at level 4. Well, we'll have to see if they do go a bit more normal as we come back into this one. FCJ in Gillyweed here for the August Road to BlizzCon Americas. It's the last chance for these teams to get in while the getting is good, because, of course, we do got the September championships coming up on the way down the line. So when we return, Game 2, Construction Crew in Crimson Mist. See you then.